Anybody with artistic ambitions is always trying to reconnect with the way they saw things as a child. Now, I don't know if I've ever heard a more relatable quote than this, especially when it comes to creativity and design in general. What is it about the way that we saw things as a kid? Obviously, when we look back in our memories, we tend to see things with rosy glasses. But things always seemed better. Things always seemed a lot more designed, as some clients would say. Things seem to be more intentional and more well thought out. Or maybe the way it is now is the way it's always been. Obviously, our personal memories can be distorted, but we can look back at the way design was 20, 30 years ago and see how it actually was. And when we compare them to the way things are today, we can really tend to kind of glorify the way things used to be. Now, this isn't all bad nor all good. I mean, look at all these different brands that have gone the retro route. There's Pizza Hut, for example, that's gone back to their logo of the 80s and the 90s. Even Burger King did something very similar with their recent rebranding. It's clear that retro works, and there's something about it that speaks to us. And it does reinforce the idea that us as designers and creatives are always trying to capture something from our childhood. In my opinion, this hits really deep, and it perfectly captures how it feels to be a designer. As adults, we tend to overthink and filter all the things that we create. But as kids, we were fearless with creativity. We drew with wild lines, crazy colors, and made things that were inspired by pure imagination. So how do we harness that childlike creativity while still maintaining professional design work? Well, first let's unpack why the idea is so powerful to begin with. As designers, we tend to get stuck in a cycle of perfectionism and rules. Logos must be clean and minimal. Posters have to follow a strict grid. Everything needs to make sense. But when you design as a child would, you free yourself from all of those strict limitations. Think about some of the most iconic logos and posters. Many of them have that playful, almost simplistic energy that makes them unforgettable. So remember this, childlike creativity doesn't mean sloppy. It means bold, uninhibited, and direct. Let's take a look at some examples that really capture this idea. The Nike logo. It's simple and bold, almost like a quick stroke of a pen. I mean, obviously the Nike logo is probably very refined from where it started, but it still looks like it could just be quickly drawn with a pen. And its application really is endless. When you look at it, it doesn't give you the feeling of corporate structure and perfectionism and adhering to strict rules. It feels like a very free design, almost like a child designed it. Another great example is posters from the 60s psychedelic era. They really feel like somebody threw the rulebook out the window when it came to designing posters. These designers obviously had so much fun with color and typography, and really almost to the point of extreme. 60s psychedelic posters, which we saw a repeat of in the 90s, had so much imagination, vividness, and brightness to them that there's no way a corporation today would greenlight something like this. So how do we apply this approach to our logo designs? Well, here's a few ways to channel your inner child. Sketch first, refine later. Don't jump straight into Illustrator or Photoshop. I am very guilty of doing this. Grab a pencil and just start drawing. Let your ideas flow without worrying if they're perfect. Kids don't think to themselves, is this balanced? They just create. Trust me, some of my best ideas come from those early, messy sketches. Play with shapes and symbols. Kids love shapes. They draw suns, stars, and clouds, all of this without hesitation. They're not worried about how it looks or how someone else will perceive it. They know in their mind what they're drawing, and it doesn't stop them from doing it. As a logo designer, try having the same approach. Strip your concept down to its most basic shapes and symbols. What's the simplest, boldest way that you can represent an idea? Try approaching logo design almost as if you're creating a Bauhaus poster. Those very basic geometric shapes are the things that are really going to be recognizable and stick in people's minds. Use color fearlessly. Kids don't worry about what colors go together. They have no idea what a color wheel even is. They pick colors that they love and they just put them on the page. And while we can't throw color theory entirely out the window, you should definitely experiment with unusual color combinations. Do colors like yellow and purple go together? Yeah, in the right context. Here's a really fun design challenge. Pick two colors that do not go together and see what you can create from them. Whether it's a logo or a poster design, do something unusual that you're not used to doing. Getting out of your comfort zone is the perfect way to challenge your inner child when it comes to designing. All right, now let's talk about my favorite thing and probably yours, poster designs. This is where you can really let loose. Obviously, we're very locked in when it comes to designing a logo. It has to be very simple, it has to be very small, and it has to be so immediately recognizable that people will see it and instantly be able to connect with it. This is not the case with posters. Obviously, you need to be able to communicate with your poster designs, but posters are something that you can really experiment with or just have so much fun. They could be minimal and they could be maximal. Posters are meant to grab attention, so why not make them colorful, vibrant, bold? Here's how you can bring childlike energy to your poster designs. The typography playground. Kids love to mix and match letters, and they're not afraid to use different weights, styles, and sizes all on one page. Obviously, they're not thinking to themselves, these are different weights, these are different styles, these are different sizes. They're kids. They're just gonna draw whatever they think looks best on the page. One thing that my daughter does that's so adorable is she'll start writing out a word, and obviously she's running out of space at the end of the paper, so she just drops it down below. And this is something you can see even in poster designs. If you're running to the edge of the poster, drop it below. It doesn't have to be on the same line. You can do the same thing that kids do, just make sure to control the chaos. It has to look intentional and never look like a mistake. So use multiple typefaces in a way that feels playful, but still readable. Remember cutting out paper shapes as a kid? Try bringing it back. Create poster designs that feel like collages, mixing textures, photography, and hand-drawn elements. As much as I love Swiss and Bauhaus design, designs like this get noticed a lot more often. Storytelling through visuals. Kids tell a story through every drawing they make. Just last night, I was reading the Chronicles of Narnia to my daughter, and as I'm reading, she's sitting there drawing exactly what I'm reading. It was the most adorable thing she could do while I was reading, and it really gives you an insight into how a child's mind works and translates the things that you're communicating to them. Think about how you can inject a little story into your poster designs. Maybe it's not just promoting an event, but inviting people to a magical world. All right, so to wrap things up, don't overthink. Start with raw, playful ideas. Embrace bold shapes, colors, and type, and sketch like a kid, create like a pro. Reconnecting with that childlike view of the world can bring new life into your work. Whether you're designing logos, posters, or anything in between, remember that your best ideas may just come from your simplest place, your imagination. What are your thoughts on this Tim Burton quote? Whatever they are, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you about it. If you found this video helpful in any way, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.